Conduct unbecoming. Moments later, all three of us were making out near the bathrooms. Bryn's lips were on the left, Eli's were on the right. Bryn's tongue brushed against mine. Eli's teeth pulled at my bottom lip. Bryn leaned over and whispered something in Eli's ear, grinning. Eli's face contorted in reaction to Bryn's words. "No," he said. Bryn grinned, leaning over again to whisper in Eli's ear. This time they whispered for a minute before Eli looked at me. "Turns out I'm being kidnapped to the bathroom," Eli told me flatly. My eyebrows rose of their own accord. Why would he ditch me to sneak off with Bryn? "Go for it," I said just as flatly, hiding my complete dejection. They stood to go, walking past me. I stared after them as the world folded in around me. I slumped down onto a plush bench as Eli and Bryn disappeared. I sat, trying to convince myself not to sulk because of Eli and Bryn. Not only were they drunk, but they already knew each other. Of course, Bryn would try to single off with him. I was just some random guy. Bryn's best friend approached. Her shorts could have passed as underwear. She sat on a bench in front of me, looking at me drunkenly. The ears of her Easter Bunny mask were falling off. "So are you gay or something?" she asked. Yeah," I said. "That sucks," she said. "I was so jealous when I saw you making out with Bryn." An awkward smile with clenched teeth spread over my face in response. "Can I just," she said, half slurred as she slumped herself on top of me to cuddle. She looked at me with a defeated expression, her finger in my hair. "Will you make out with me?" I leaned down and kissed her. She was the first girl I'd kissed since breaking up with Claire. "We should go to the bathroom," she said between two heavy breaths. Indecision and doubt flooded my brain. I had very little desire to hook up in a bathroom with someone like Eli. Regardless, I was curious enough, drunk enough, and stupid enough to agree. "Okay," I said. "Yeah?" she asked as an unconcealed smile spread across her face. "Yeah." She stood, swaying a little, and grabbed my hand to pull me to the bathroom. "Wait," I said, having a moment of panic. She looked back, eyebrows raising. "I've never had sex with a woman before," I said. She smiled mischievously. "You'll be okay," she said, continuing to lead me on. The all-gender bathroom had 2 stalls, one unoccupied. Eli and Bryn were in the other. We filed into a bathroom, passing a few girls at a wash station. The bathroom stall walls extended down to the floor, giving the illusion we were in a private room. However, the walls stopped short of the ceiling, leaving a 2-foot gap between the wall and the ceiling. I closed and locked the door. My wedding night had always been a massive source of anxiety for me in my teens and early 20s. I don't know if straight people feel the same. The idea of being thrust into a situation with a female to explore their body while they explored yours was reason enough to never marry. The very thought caused me to fold in on myself. And every day of my relationship with Claire had been an actual manifestation of that nightmare. That night, in the bathroom of a gay bar, was different. I was cold, calculated, and studious. I was outside my body, doing things just to see if any of it would stir any feeling. It didn't work. That's all you need to know. I emerged from the bathroom, spotting Eli dancing with a group of girls. I approached, feeling more coordinated than I did before. The alcohol seemed to be wearing off. Eli noticed me. He wrapped his arm around me in the same friendly way he had done all night. "There you are," he said. "You disappeared on me. I thought I'd lost you." "I hooked up with Bryn's friend in the bathroom after you left." "Hey man, it's alright. Bryn told me about it already. Let's sit." Eli motioned to the benches where I had made out with Bryn's friend earlier. We sank into the padded bench furthest from the bathroom. We cuddled in silence, which felt only natural. Music boomed, people danced, unaware or uncaring of how awful a place this world can be. A line from the book The Great Gatsby came to me all the way from 11th grade English. It was all very careless and confused. They were careless people, Tom and Daisy. They smashed up things and creatures and then retreated back into their money or their vast carelessness, or whatever it was that kept them together, and let other people clean up the mess they had made. Fitzgerald was critiquing wealth in this passage, but that night I saw it as a critique of youth and the total insanity of coming to know yourself. This was miserable. I curled up beside Eli, my head in his lap, feeling so isolated I could have vomited. I was careless. I smashed up things and left destruction in my wake. Destruction in the form of love scorned and lies told, all so I could stay at BYU. I had found a moral limit and crossed with a skip. Now I had to limp back. My feelings were less about hooking up in a bathroom, less about the church, and more about me as a person. Where does morality start when you're at an end of faith? Who is the voice of reason when divinity is dead, and you're standing at the edge of the rest of your life? It's your first time getting drunk, and you hook up with a girl in a gay bar? Eli said, his tone implying the irony of the statement. That about describes it, I said. How'd it go? Well, how had it gone? I was quite nearly speechless. It turns out I'm gay. I buried my face in his shoulder. What did I just do? I don't even know her name. Neither do I, actually. You're not the one who had sex with her. Silence washed over me, eyes staring unfocused at the dance floor. I tuned out the music and the silhouettes of people dancing under a multicolored light. The men and women in the club were all one, just like church members. One in fun and resolve, one in drunkenness, one in dancing, the beat of the song pulsing over them. They were one, and their oneness had no room for me. I was alone, alone in my mind, alone in my life. Here in this club, in the church, BYU, my family. No one cared. Everyone else was too busy or righteous to look outside themselves. Let's go, I said. Eli stood, turning around to grab my hands and help me up. The girl emerged from the bathroom. She walked past us, either not seeing or pretending not to see us. Crap, there she is. I grabbed Eli and turned him to face me. What should I do? Talk to her? Eli glanced over to where the girl had stopped to lean against the wall, adjusting her shoes. You were drunk. She was drunk. Nothing you did meant anything. Let's just get out of here. Denny's? Yep. I followed Eli out of the club, careful to keep my eyes on his back, giving myself no opportunity to acknowledge the woman whose name I never learned. We arrived at Denny's. I followed our waitress to the table. My thoughts were clearing up, but I was clumsy and thus forced to admit that I still had alcohol in my system. Eli walked well enough. Is this going to be okay for you? The waitress asked as she placed the menus on the booth table. I nodded at her, trying not to appear drunk. Even then, I wanted everyone to think I was a straight-buttoned returned missionary. I was probably the only RM from my mission who had been drunk and had premarital sex after getting home from the mission. We sat in the booth and ordered. Our food arrived, and I began relating to Eli the story of how I had ended up having sex with a random girl in a bathroom stall. At the end of my explanation, Eli received a text. Bryn just messaged me. What is it? I felt better now that I had eaten. Check your phone, Eli said. My phone buzzed against the table. I opened the text to see a picture of me hunched over Bryn's friend, taken from an aerial perspective in the bathroom stall. Bryn must have climbed a wall and taken a picture of us. Are you serious? I said, taken aback. Eli laughed. Dude, you have great form. Well, thank you, I said with a liberal amount of sarcasm. My eyes locked on the phone. I guess it could be worse. You can't even see your face, Eli said. Soon, we were joking about the photo, like it was a horrible memory, separated from us by 5 years of counseling.